Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you happen to be listening to this little training video that I have. My name is Laurie McNaughton, and I am your scale up business coach. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about why it's so difficult for businesses to sometimes change and evolve. And I'd say that with um, the solid backing of literally 50% of businesses fail within just a year or two, and then another 70% fail within 5 years, something like that. So who's this video for? If you own a business where you're working a lot of hours and it's not as profitable as it should be, and you have a difficult team, or maybe you're, sitting at a million and you're trying to get to two, or you're trying to get to four or eight or 16 or 32 or 60, whatever that number is for you, but you're finding it very difficult to do. It may be simply related to the subject that I'm going to talk about here today. But the first thing I need to do is lay some groundwork. So I'm going to talk a little biology, and I'm also going to talk a little bit of neuroscience. And I think neuroscience is an exciting topic. I tell you, if I would have been come out of a high school and thought about going to university, I'd be wanting to study neuroscience because it is the most fascinating topic that I have ever come across, besides the topic of succeeding at a high level in business. So, to understand why neuroscience is important, I want to point out a little bit of biology, and that is if I was to remove your brain from your head, which of course I'm not going to do, and I could put it in the palm of my hands, and that your brain weighs about 3.5 pounds, and 75% of your brain is water, and it's made up of something in the neighborhood of 90 billion neurons. So neurons are connection areas. So if you look at this particular video here and you see the these little larger nodes here, if I could call it that, that's what would be a neuron. And then these little lines that go between here are what are called synapses, which is the connections between neurons. So when you're born, you have no connections, other than maybe, if your parents sang to you, or whatever else that went on during pregnancy, you know, reading poems, whatever it is, those things can the fetus can hear those things after the brain has started to develop later in the pregnancy. Anyway, let's just get to the point of this. So between the ages of 0 and 7 is when the vast majority of programming goes on inside your brain. And then from 7 to 15 is something to that effect. Another really strong growth spurt in terms of making neural connections. So growing those synapses between neurons. And just to put some emphasis on this, is to understand this is that neurons that fire together wire together. So what does that mean? That means that, let's just say you're a baby and I keep telling you how beautiful you are. Over time, you make a connection between a synapses between neurons that say, hey, I'm a beautiful baby, or I'm smart, or I'm successful, whatever that is. So when they're fired together often enough, they create a connection, and they become a part of your personality. And this grows on, like I said, between the ages of 0 and 7. Like, it's just massive how much happens. And anybody that's ever had a baby or experienced watching a baby, it's like something completely amazing to watch. And then between 7 and 15 or somewhere in there, there's still a lot going on. And even up until your mid 20s, there's still a significant amount of neural connections going on. Now, having said that, they typically start to slow down because you stop learning and you stop growing. So the old adage that says to you can't teach an old dog new tricks is wrong. You can teach an old dog new tricks forever. An old person can, if they take the time to learn something, will make new neural connections, synapses between new neurons. And so I'm going to tie this together as to what this means for you in your business and why your business is stuck. Because here's the thing, your business is a reflection of what's going on inside your head. And so if you want to change the business, then you're going to have to change the wiring in your brain. And so what does that mean? You're going to have to learn something. So somebody smart said to me one time, the only place that earn comes before learn is in the dictionary. You have to learn more in order to earn more. You have to learn more if you want to have a great business. You have to learn a lot of different subjects. And remember, as the owner of the business, that is your job. Your job is your product is your business. What your business does is the job of your team. So let's keep moving along because I want to really bring this point home so you can understand that you're going to have to learn some things in order to create a different business. If your business isn't where you want it to be, meaning, like I said, if you're working 50, 60 plus hours a week and you're, not as profitable as you should be, and you struggle with people, you struggle with your team, you struggle with customers, you struggle with suppliers, this is all part of the process of learning. And this is what you need to do at the highest level so you can create I call it a profitable business that runs without you. Okay, so let's keep moving along here. So how does this all work? So your personality creates your personal reality. So your personality creates your business because that's your personal reality. So if you don't change what your personality is doing, then you're not going to change what your business results are getting to be. So looking on the left side, you see your personality, your old self and your old business. It's your personal reality. It's familiar, it's predictable because it's based on the past. So the decisions that you made and the plans that you made are the same. And so what do you end up with? The same. You end up with the same business. So your personality is made up of your thoughts, your actions, and your feelings. And it creates your state of being. So that's who you're being in terms of your business. Oops. Are you being a leader or are you being really basically an employee? Because I always say, think if you don't have a company that can run when you're not there, then really you just have a job. And job stands for just over broke, meaning at any time things could blow up on you. So coming back to this process here, and this thought pattern is this is be times do equals have. So who you're being and relates to what you're doing, and that creates what you have. So you either have a successful business that grows easily, or you have a business that struggles all the time. So if you want to create a new business, then you need to change your personal reality. So your personality is creates your personal reality. So that means fundamentally you're going to have to change your personality. So you're going to have to make new decisions, and you're going to have to make new plans. And it's going to reflect in that personal reality that I talked about, but it's going to be unfamiliar, unpredictable because it's really in the future. And because of that, this is what gets most people stuck, and that's fear. So false expectations appearing real. So if you don't change who you're being, then you won't do anything different. And if you don't do something different, then you won't have something different. So you want to have a new business, we've got to change who you are being. So I just want to point out something here. So this is your brain. We talked about the brain. Everything vibrates, right? Everything in the universe is made up of vibrations. Your thoughts are vibrations. Your brain vibrates. If you hooked you up with one of these things on your skull cap things, you would actually see all of the stuff, action going on in there. So if your brain is more like this red aligned graph here, then it's going to be a reflection of that in your business. And so it's going to make it very difficult for you to grow your business. It's going to make it very difficult for you to change your business. Now, if you're feeling more like homeostasis, meaning calmness, clarity, uh, you're going to see a brain wave that's going to be more like the blue brain wave. And that's going to be a reflection of what your business looks like. So, what causes sort of the frustration part of that? Well, there's a whole lot of things. One is you don't have clear goals. The other is you don't have a great plan. One is you don't really know what you're doing. The other is that you're not being a leader. There's all these sort of things that create frustration, fear, doubt, stress, anxiety. and shame and guilt, because when we don't create what we think we want to create, sometimes we feel guilt about that and we feel a level of shame. We got to let that go and bring ourselves back into the blue brain wave, and that is creating a level of clarity, purpose, make it fun, grow, have love and gratitude and trust. This is a key: trust, and inspire not only your team, but you need to inspire yourself as well. And when you have the clarity, the purpose, the fun, the growth, the love, the gratitude, the trust, and you're inspired, your brain waves are going to be more like the blue brain waves. Whereas if you don't have that all out, your brain wave is going to be more like the red brain wave, which is going to cause all kinds of difficulty. And this is going to stop your business from growing. So I want to make a point about something, and that is that most people don't like, and that is vulnerability is your superpower. People want to know, the people who work for you want to know that you're not some alien, or you're not some robot, that you're actually a human being, that you have a heart and a soul, and that you not only want what's best for yourself and your family and your company, but you want what's best for them as well. And you want them to know, it's like, listen, you know, the God's honest truth is that I'm trying to figure this out myself. And I could use with help. I forget who said this. We talk about a mastermind. I think it was Napoleon Hill talked about mastermind. If you have two heads, you create a third head. Or two brains, you create a third brain. Or three, you create another brain, because you collectively think differently and ask questions and dive in things. So be a human being, say, listen, I'm trying to figure this out. Let's sit down and see what we can come up with, and reach out. There's no harm in asking for help. So, got to keep moving along here. I don't want to run out of time. The same thoughts produce the same chemicals. That's your oxytocin, or pardon me, your cortisol, adrenaline, that sort of thing, oxytocin, all of these neurochemicals that create feelings inside your body. So they produce the same chemicals, they create a feeling, and you end up with the same person, or same genes, if I could call it that. And then if you go, same thoughts, produce the same chemicals, you take the same actions, you produce the same business. But we don't want the same business. We want a business that provides us with a lifestyle that we dreamt of, having time to spend time with families, being home for supper, having weekends off, taking nice vacations, all that kind of thing. Uh, and or we want to grow. We want to go from that, what I said, million to two, two to four, four to eight, eight to 16, 16 to 32, and 32 to 64. So here's coaching can help you go from here to there. Because part of my job is to get you out of that space that you're in and pull you into that blue, nice, beautiful brainwave, and get you thinking clearly about what it is that you want to um, create. So if you're interested and you're serious about doing this with your business, and you're serious about having fun and making it easy, let's have a conversation. Book a 30-minute discovery call. Simply, that 30-minute discovery call is the first thing I want to do is understand a little bit more about your business and you, and understand what your challenges are. And if I feel like I can help, and there's some synergy between us, then we'll book a complimentary coaching session, which is about an hour and a half, where I dig in deep. So it's like, if you're working too much, you're frustrated, and your profits are low, and you have a dysfunctional team, those are merely symptoms, and I need to understand what the causes are. So that's what the complimentary coaching session is. And then when we do that, I can share with you what the solutions are. And if you feel like there's some value in us working together, we can talk about a program that'll work for you. So I'll put the link in the description of the video. Just click on the link. You book right into my calendar. No pressure, nothing like that. I'm not a pressure guy. I'm not into pressuring anybody into anything. We'll just figure out if this is right for you. And if it's right for you, we'll talk about how we go from there. Thanks for listening. Again, my name is Laurie McNaughton, and I am your Scaled Up Business Coach.